All right, family, and we are now live. Let me get the Buddha in the shot. We are now live. We are now live. We are about to have an awesome show tonight. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, and yeah, it's going down tonight. I want y'all to tell your family or your friends that we are live with the Oracle, and it's about to get popping. Without further ado, I want to welcome to the stage, to the platform. I think this is the first time this queen has been on the show since Gathering of the Masters. She tore it down, did her thing. I mean, she was with the people the whole weekend doing readings. I want to thank you once again for coming down to Georgia, Stonecrest, Georgia, and participating, gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, Myrah, Sister Myrah Moss. Welcome back.
Thank
Welcome back.
you. Thank you, Brother Rich. It's always a pleasure to do the show. And I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, that Gathering of the Masters, I just had a ball.
I
You
know. I
know,
see. Yeah.
yeah,
I
meeting other
see.
people. Yeah, that was really nice. So,
How's everything been for you since then?
oh, it's been good. It's been good.
Hmm.
They're going as usual. It's kind of things have kind of what is it? Kind of slacked off a little bit, but I'm
Hmm.
not complaining as
Hmm.
far as other activities. But things have started to pick up lately. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but I'm still my consultations are still going on. But the time is shortened. I think I'm out at like February, March now, so
Hmm.
you can get
Hmm.
an appointment around February to March.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hmm.
Like I said, I always tell people about the classic reading I got from you in 2005.
Oh yes, I can hear that a lot too. People bring that back
Oh
to
yeah,
me.
yeah, it was prophetic. I was just talking to you yesterday, and I had a great conversation with you. I was talking about I finally found out my moon sign was Aries, and you was just breaking that down. So you're
Yeah.
definitely one of the best out there,
Oh,
and
thank you.
that's one of the reasons why we want to talk to you, Sister Myra, about
Absolutely.
2025.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The energy out there, and it's sad that some people really got depressed and got emotional from the elections. And the outcome of the elections has a lot of people feeling horrible. It has some people feeling excited, but I don't want our happiness to be based on politicians.
Absolutely.
So 2025 is going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's talk about and I remember I did a show with you about 2024, and you was talking about 2024. You brought up Cat Williams and everything that went down in 2024. When you're so great at astrology, you've been doing it for so long.
Yes.
When you look at 2025, Myra, we got to know from you. Nobody else could say it like you. What is going down? What should we tap into? What should we look forward to? What should we stay away from? The floor is yours, Sister
All
Myra.
right. Now you remember Brother Rich at the Gathering of the Masters. It's
Yes.
very funny because at the Gathering of the Masters, I talked about I brought up Kendrick Lamar and his Heart Part
Yeah.
5 and comparing that to the Tetragrammaton.
Mhm.
And then I talked about the Super Bowl.
Mm.
And I talked about the Super Bowl this year, 2024. And I compared it to Asar, Sagittarius, Kansas City Chiefs, and what they represented as Asar and were they going to use their power abusively or righteously.
Mhm.
They ended up using the power abusively because we were looking at 13, the
Mhm.
number 13. Remember, Asar was cut into 14 pieces.
Mhm.
The 14th piece was his penis, his power to resurrect,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, and he was cut down by the Father, the air element, righteous Father's spirit. His role is righteous thinking.
Mhm.
So the ultimate son of power, the last fire sign, whose planetary ruler is Jupiter,
Mhm.
which anything Jupiter touches brings in abundance.
Mhm.
So the last son, Sagittarius, with Jupiter energy, was the son most prone to abuse his power.
Mhm.
And so he had to be cut down
Mhm.
by the righteous Father's spirit into 14 pieces or 14 cycles of time so he could mature and how
Right.
to use his powers righteously without abusing them.
Right.
Right? because the only sin in the spiritual reality is the abuse of power. That's opposite the physical, where there's a multitude of sins. In the spiritual, there's only one sin, and that's the abuse of power. So that is why he had to be cut down, because when our predecessors abused their powers, they screwed up the world. If we abuse our powers, it's going to be detrimental to the universe. So all this has been what you call an alchemy cycle, teaching us how to use our powers righteously without abusing them before we gain full use or the abundance of that power. So that's the whole story about Set, the father, cutting Asar down into those 14 pieces. But I always tell you, energy has to go a full 360-degree spiral in order for it to be whole. If it's one iota outside of that full 360-degree spiral, 180 degrees on each half, then it's not whole, it's still in the aberrant rotation, and it's still not real. So what the emphasis was on this Super Bowl in February this year, with Kansas City still representing the SAR, but this was the 13th Super Bowl, which means it was the 58th Super Bowl. You add up 5 and 8, you get 13. And they played the 49ers, and 9 and 4 is 13. And they brought in Taylor Swift, which is a sign of, abuse of power. And her birthday is December 13th. And the quarterback for San Francisco wore the number 13. So the emphasis was on the number 13. And we are in an 8-year, 2024. And the number for fulfillment, after to complete a cycle or complete a level and access a new level at a higher vibration, that's the 9 vibration. That is the 9 vibration. So that's what we got in the last Super Bowl, that we were at the 13th piece of Asar, where he did abuse his power. And we're in an 8-year, which we need to be in a 9-year in order for there to be a level completed and starting a new level. And next Super Bowl is the 59th Super Bowl, which adds up to 14. So it's a neon sign pointing to next year, next Super Bowl, we'll have the 14th Super Bowl. Will Asar will put on his 14th piece, or his penis, and in a full collective resurrection of power. And it's going to be in the 9-year, 2025. You add up 2025, you get 9. So the stage is set for this Super Bowl to demonstrate that we're now crossing the fence. In other words, energy only goes 180 degrees before it has to be balanced with the opposite 180 degrees to complete a full 360 spiral. That is how you open up a vortex for access to the next level. So that is what the neon sign is pointing to, that we're now getting ready to hop the fence and cross over from the physical half of the operation to the spiritual half. Now, the formula of creation is the balance of opposites. Anywhere you balance opposites equally is where you open up that 360-degree spiral, because it's 180 degree on each half. And the thing that most people don't understand about energy is that you don't blend energy. You harmonize energy. That means you have to complete one half before you activate the opposite half in equal measure. And we're at the crossroads of that. We're at the crossroads of completing the physical half of, see, what is the contrast here that we're always going to be looking at is external versus internal.
Right.
The external is the physical illusion, and the internal is spiritual reality. So what we're looking at now is hopping from the physical half, where we've been focused on the external illusion, physical illusion, Now we're at the crossroads of completing that half, that 180 degrees. In other words, 180 degrees. Right now, we're probably at 179.9 of completing that 180 degree half, or the physical illusionary half. And we've been going through this through many lifetimes. This is where everybody has been mastering in the purpose that they want to serve or bring to the table as a contribution to a larger universal purpose being fulfilled. So we've all been mastering through many lifetimes. It was when we were energy beings, because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. And when we were in our antiquity, when we were as spiritual beings, we took a mission, we took a purpose. We said it's like the universe was handing out missions that had to be fulfilled in order for this fulfillment, this universal purpose to be fulfilled. So each one of us took a mission. And, it's like, I'll take that purpose. I'll take that mission or your spiritual destiny, your spiritual purpose. And when you took your mission, when you fell into the flesh, you forgot your mission. You forgot your purpose. But your spirit didn't forget. And your spirit has paved the way for you to walk the path so you can be confronted with the challenges of fulfilling that purpose. So you can see your capability to overcome those challenges for your growth. And the more you line back up with your spirit, the more you come back into who you are holistic. There's a holistic purpose being fulfilled, and we have to be holistic to participate in it. And what I mean by holistic, that means we have to make that first level balance with our own spirit. We do the physical half, and when we've maxed out on what we know to do on the physical half, that is why this happens in the Aquarius age, because Aquarius is the sign of I know. And that means we've reached the maximum of what we need to know. Right now, your spirit has brought you everything you need to know right now. You don't need to search for any more information. You've already received everything you need to know. Now it's time to utilize what you know. It's time to walk in what you know. It's the difference in knowing and walking in the knowing. And now it's time for us to walk in the knowing. That is where we have to now tag our spiritual partner, which is our spiritual half. Remember, two halves make a whole. We've completed the physical half, and now it's time for our spiritual partnership, our spiritual partner, to do its half as it leads us into the spiritual reflection or the spiritual balance with what we've completed on the physical half. So now it's time for our spirit to take the lead as it leads us into a new reality, a spiritual reality, as we're stepping up to a new level. Nothing's about time. It's about levels. And the first level is that balance with your own spirit. You do the physical half, 180 degrees. And then when you've maxed out in what you know to do, that is when you tag your spiritual partner. You come out of the ring, your spirit goes in the ring symbolically, and it will access the energy of the universe to match what you've invested on the physical half. And that is when it's ready to complete and fulfill your individual purpose. That opens up that first vortex. That full 360 spiral opens up the first vortex for you to ascend to a new level in your energy vibration. It's a multitude of levels. You have your individual level where you balance with your own spirit. That's the first level that opens up the rest. The second level is a couple level, a one-on-one. This is the mate level. The third level is a family level. And from the family level, you go to the community level. And from there, it's like local, national, international, until we get to the global level. The global level is where we've reached the 180 degree or half of the process at the global level. And this is where the powers that have been have maximized in their power. They've come to the maximum of their power in the physical half of this process, of this universal purpose being fulfilled. So they are at about 179.8 degrees of their maximum abuse of power. So now it's time, as we complete that half, to activate the opposite response from the spiritual half in equal measure. And that is where things will switch over to a spiritual half of operation, which is in opposition to the corrupted, stagnated, maximum of corruption of power when it comes to the powers that have been, because we've reached a maximum of corruption when it comes to the powers that have been. And we're talking the systems of illusion. We've been under the auspices of false parents. We've been under the auspices of the father of illusion, the ma of tricks, the matrix, and the ma of terror, materialism. And now it's time for divine intervention from our true parents, righteous Father Spirit and Mama Universe. But we have to be optimistic to tap into this divine intervention. So we've reached the maximum of that physical half, where we've that 180-degree physical half, and it's now time to hop the fence to the spiritual half and put the two in balance. That's the key to everything, balance. Two halves make a whole, holistic. If it's not whole, it's not real. Anytime you're looking at a part of the whole, that's the illusion. So we haven't been seeing the bigger picture. When we fell into the flesh and started working on the mastery of the purpose that we chose to serve, it was like that first lifetime, we had to master in that purpose. It was like one piece of the puzzle. But because one piece of the puzzle don't make a lot of sense, but because of guidance through our spirit, we were able to master in that lifetime. And it gave us access to the next lifetime, where we continued that mastery, or the second piece of the puzzle, completing spirals for access to the next level, where you start a new one at a higher vibration each lifetime. So we did this all the way up until we got into this lifetime, where we went into the Aquarius age. And then this lifetime, now we're bringing the final mastery, or the final pieces of puzzle, to the table, which is only now we're able to see the bigger picture as we're putting the last pieces of the puzzle in place. Only now are we seeing the bigger purpose, or the bigger picture that's been unfolding through many lifetimes. The sun sign, you have all the energy in you, but the sun sign is what you came in here to focus through. So now coming into this lifetime to focus through the sun sign, through your sun sign, to complete your last mastery, or your last piece of puzzle in contribution to this holistic purpose being fulfilled. It's the one and all in the all in one. Everybody has a unique purpose to bring to the table in contribution to the whole. Your reality is no more wrong or right than anyone else's. We all master from our own spiritual journey in order to bring it to the table in contribution to the fulfillment of this universal purpose. So this is what we're doing in this lifetime. Anytime we go into the Aquarius age, because Aquarius is the sign of evolution, Aquarius is the sign of I know, and Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian. And the key to everything is balance. The opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. So Leo is the creative ruler, which means when we balance Aquarius and Leo, it's time to evolve a new age rulership out of an abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. However, we got to know our power in order to step up to our power as the creative rulers in the universe. That is where Leo comes in at, the balance of Aquarius. So the creative rulers, but the planetary ruler of Leo is the sun. And the sun brings full exposure. So everything that's been hidden is now being exposed so we can evolve as the new age rulers for the new Aquarian age that is blossoming out of an abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. And everybody has a unique purpose and contribution to this fulfillment of this holistic purpose. And so now it's time to hop the fence. You don't straddle the fence because we don't blend energy. You complete one half, and now it's time to hop the fence to the opposite half, which is for us the spiritual half. The physical half has been the half of sacrifice and struggle. We've been the vessels of sacrifice and struggle throughout many, many lifetimes. And now that sacrifice and struggle has been your investment that is now tallied up as to what is now going to pay off in opposite spiritual reward as we now cross over to the spiritual half of this operation in balance to what we've completed on the physical half. And that line where we cross over is actually December 21st, this month. This is the last cycle for us to cross over into the spiritual half of this operation.
Wow.
So now it's time for the evolution, Aquarius, of a new age rulership, Leo, out of the abuse of power to a humanitarian empowerment. As our ancient rulers, our ancestors, are now passing us the baton to step up as the new age rulers for a righteous rulership out of this abuse of power. So really didn't matter who really won the election, although I would prefer that it went the way it went myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know,
Indeed.
Although I don't really participate in, in the political arena.
Mm-hmm.
But, I was more pushed to where it did, the outcome we got, I thought was the best outcome for the times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, because, well, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get political, so I'm not going to go there.
Right.
But all of the systems of the world, like I said, have become corrupted.
Right.
And we are talking the political system. We're talking the medical system. We're talking the pharmaceutical system, the legal system, educational system, entertainment system, the news media. Did I say educational? All those systems are now fully corrupt at a global level, a global agenda. Mm-hmm. Now they've reached their maximum 180 degrees, and now it's time for the opposite. That's just how energy unfolds through a negative and positive polarity. It's like temperature. When their opposites are the same, they're just coming from opposite perspective. Temperature. When do you cross over from the hot half into the cold half, or the cold half into the hot half? Well, we're now stepping from the physical half into the spiritual half to balance between the two. There's three levels we're dealing with. We're dealing with the soul realm, which is the cosmic realm. That is Mama's domain. Mama universe, Mama soul, Mama magic. First two letters of magic is Ma, and then we got Mama of antiquity. She is the ancient of ancients. Everything did start matriarchal, but then it spiraled. Spirit is spiral. When it was matriarchal in our antiquity, Mama's domain, that dealt with the ancestors and our antiquity. Our ancestors had powers. This is who they patterned the superheroes after. They could fly. They could breathe underwater. They could talk telepathically with the plants, the animals, the universe, each other. We still have those powers. However, those are of the subconscious. That is the cosmic realm, Mama's domain, the conscious realm. Then we move to where our ancestors are at. And then we move to the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is Father's domain. Mama is the water element, Mama universe. Then we go to the Father, the spiritual, the air element. Father represents the air element. He is righteous Father spirit. And spirit is collective. So you have to pull energy to create spirit. That's why they say we're more than one is called in my name, so shall I be Father's spirit. You have to pull energy to create spirit. The spiritual realm, that deals with our spiritual ancestors. Those are the ancestors we're conscious of, the ones we knew in this lifetime. When they make their transition, they go on that front line spiritually in order to access the energy vibrations from the cosmic realm or the soul realm, our ancient ancestors, and then they access that and to the spiritual realm, and then the spiritual realm is opposite the physical, so we can now balance with what the spiritual realm or your spiritual ancestors have access from your soul ancestors, and now channel that vibration to you, the family vessel or boot on the ground at the physical level. So that's how we harmonize from the soul realm to the spiritual realm to the physical realm, where we then are the vessels for that energy to manifest that energy at ground level. So this is where we're stepping up as the new rulers. Now we can step up to our ancestors and say, which one of my ancestors have mastered in this creative power? Because it's the creative powers that's going to blossom. The material power is what's falling. Even in the Bible, they told you in the last days, and we're definitely in the last days as we know it, they're going to be throwing money in the street. It has no value. And we're so close to that right now. You see banks closing every day, every week. So the material power is falling. And at the same time, the creative power, which is Leo energy, anytime you're dealing with fire, you're dealing with power, especially creative powers. And Leo is the sign of creative powers. So it's now time to evolve a rulership, Aquarius, a creative rulership. So where you're creative at is where you're going to blossom. So now we can step up to our ancestors, spiritual ancestors or soul ancestors, and say, which one of my ancestors have mastered in this creative power? Channel that energy to me so I can manifest that creative power at ground level. That's how we're going to work in harmonization. You don't blend energy, you harmonize energy. So harmonizing between those three realms. And that is where we're headed. That's the crossroads we're at, where we now are going to be able to tap into the spiritual half in order to manifest that energy as the vessel for that energy, which the spiritual realm, your spiritual ancestors have access from the cosmic or the soul realm. So that is what is opening up for us. And the crossroads is December 21st. We are in the last cycle. So December 21st is where we're going to cross that fence. It doesn't mean you're going to see an explosion or a big, wham bam activity.
Mhm.
Energy unfolds, but we're going to cross the fence where the energy is now going to be becoming more dominant in a reversal, in a spiritual rotation based on spiritual principles of righteousness. So this is what we're looking ahead for. This is why the Super Bowl was indicating that Asar was not whole and complete in this Super Bowl with the 13 pieces, but next year, 2025, where we get a 9, in that year, which is a transitional number, and we get 14 pieces of Asar, where he now resurrects into his collective abundance of power, having proved that he will use that power righteously and not abuse it. That's what he had to mature and learn how to do. The reason he was cut into those 14 pieces. So that's the crossroads we're at right now. They demonstrated this when we had the eclipse in April. it made a cross. Remember that eclipse in April made a cross. That was indicating us being at that crossroads, ready to hop. So that is why it's time for us to pass the baton to our spiritual half. We're in partnership with our own spirit. And now it's going to lead the way as it guides us into the spiritual half of this operation, where we now can tap into the energy of our spiritual ancestors and our soul ancestors. The soul ancestors are the ones, like I said, they patterned the superheroes after they had gifts and they had powers. We access that through the subconscious, which is Pisces energy. So now it's time for us to step up and embrace our spiritual half. Let our spirit be the one to lead us and guide us into the spiritual half of the operation. Two halves make a whole, holistic. If it's not whole, it's not real. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking at. Right now, as far as the political system, it's falling. And see, there's good news and bad news, because it's always the darkest before the dawn. And we're at the darkest phase before the dawn.
Wow.
So things get a lot rougher, in the physical external illusion. We're going to see a lot of things falling down, particularly Babylon. And so Babylon will fall. As we cross over into this spiritual half of the operation. And so how bad it gets before the darkest before the dawn, before things begin to show the opposite return, as we've completed the physical half of sacrifice and struggle. So how much darker it's going to get before that dawn. But those who are on their spiritual path and have connected with their spiritual half is going to step you up. There's two prerequisites to stepping up as that royal ruler. The universe will gauge to qualify you as a royal ruler. And number one, you have to be secure from within. That is the earth element. You have to be secure. It starts with Taurus. Taurus is the sign of values. On the external, they turn Taurus, the sign of values, into materialism, so that we gauge our value based on what we possess materially or the work we personally do to gain our material power. But when you look on the internal in that Taurus energy, and Taurus, earth and water are internal. So when you look internally in that Taurus energy, it's about the personal work you've done in your spiritual mastery, what you brought to the table as your spiritual work and your spiritual destiny and purpose, the value of that in contribution to this universal purpose being fulfilled. So that's where you go internal and define within yourself, your own self-worth and your own self-value, in the value of the purpose you served in your spiritual work versus the material power in your physical work. So once you have gone internal and defined your own value and your security from within, that is the earth element, then it leads you to the second earth sign, Virgo. Virgo is where we cleanse and purify of the false values that we've been programmed to believe is real in the matrix. That's why they're so meticulous when it comes to details. You can leave no stone unturned as you hunt out all impurities in order to cleanse and purge of those impurities for healing in our wisdom. Virgo is the sign of wisdom, where we unplug from the matrix. That is what we do through Virgo. Virgo is a pivotal point in that fact, because the first 6 signs are physical. So from Aries to Taurus to Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, the first 6 signs is the physical half. And then from Libra to Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, we have the spiritual half. Neither one is no higher than lower than the other. Balance is the key to everything. So the spirit needs a vessel just as much as the vessel needs the spirit. So once we have completed the physical half through Virgo, who's cleansed and purified us false values, and we've healed in our wisdom and unplugged from the matrix, that will then take us to the last earth sign, Capricorn, the sign of integrity and character. That is where you step up to the integrity and character, and step up to the full security of your value and your worth as a high priest or a high priestess. So that happens through the earth element with Capricorn. The other way Virgo is a pivotal point, being the last sign in the physical half. I do call Virgo the Christ child because it's where we ascend from the physical half into the spiritual half through Libra. Once you've been cleansed and purified through Virgo, the Virgin Mama, the last two signs in the physical half is Leo and Virgo. Leo is the fifth sign, Virgo is the sixth sign. So it's like, you have to look at symbolism when you're dealing with energy. So you have to look at the symbolism. You can't be in your left brain on this. So so symbolic of the Virgin Mama, Virgo, who cleanses and purifies the Leo sun of false values to the matrix. So he can now ascend above the horizon line into the spiritual half through Libra. Now able to get into an equal and balanced partnership with your own spirit, come to your individual wholeness or your individual Christhood. And this is also where your mate will also get into balance with their spirit. Everybody gets into balance with their spirit through Libra. Libra is the sign of partnership. It's an air sign, so we're dealing with spirit. Anytime we're dealing with the air element. So getting in balance with your spirit. The planetary ruler of Libra is Venus. Venus is earth. So it's like the physical and the spiritual now in equal balance, where you as the vessel, the physical vessel, can now balance with your spiritual half and come to your individual wholeness or your individual Christhood. And this is also where your mate will also get into balance with their spirit and come to their individual wholeness. And only then can the two actually come together as twin souls. And when the twin souls come together in Libra, then the next energy is Scorpio. And Scorpio is the energy of bonding. So this twin souls bond in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. So it's love, it's water, it's emotional. And Scorpio is intense, extreme. So the intensity of the extremity of bonding as twin souls is what activates the transformation. Scorpio is the sign of transformation, the death of the old for a rebirth of the new at a higher level. The old has to go in order for the new to blossom. So that's what they call the celestial ship of the north. What the Mayans call the great crossover is that transformation through Scorpio after the intense bonding of the twin souls that came together through Libra. So once that transformation is activated through Scorpio, it crosses over to the great creative place of Sagittarius or Asar, where you now step up to the abundance of your collective power. So this is what Asar is in line to do in this Super Bowl. The next Super Bowl in February is where we'll get the next Super Bowl, where Asar should put on his 14th piece and his resurrection, indicating it's now time for us to step up to our spiritual powers in the abundance of that resurrection. And that is where all this is going to commence, as we move into 2025. Because 2025, when you add that up, that's a 9. That's a transitional number. That's when you complete one level and then access the next level at a higher vibration. But the reason I started off talking about the gathering of the masters, because I talked about this at the gathering of the masters, and what Now, I had did a video before. I did one on your show where I talked about Kendrick Lamar. And then I did one on Professor Melanie's show where I broke down Heart Part 5 and compared it to the Tetragrammaton, where the father, the mother, and the son all raises the fallen daughter, daughter Earth. And so when I did that video, maybe a few months before the gathering of the masters, someone texted me from California and they were like, where can we find your video on Kendrick Lamar? So I told them how to find it. And when I went to the gathering of the masters, and as I was talking about this, and as I was talking about the Heart Part 5 with Kendrick Lamar, I wanted to explain to the people that, I haven't spoken personally to Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if that's what take he was, putting out there, but this is the information I gleaned from his Heart Part 5. So I said, I don't even know if he knows, the perspective I'm putting out here. But when I said that, at the gathering of the masters, there were 5 people sitting in the front row. And they shouted up to me and said, he knows. Kendrick Lamar knows. So I'm assuming he was the one, or his team was the one who contacted me about how to find that video. So it was about 5 people in this front row that shouted to me that Kendrick knew about my Heart Part 5 take. Or the information I put out about the Heart Part 5. So it's very interesting that after the gathering of the masters, about a month after the gathering of the masters, the announcement came out that Kendrick Lamar is going to do next year's Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just
Yep.
To think that I may have had any kind of influence on that. You say that he is now going to do that 14th Super Bowl. That's going to symbolize the resurrection of a Sar, a stepping up to our collective power. So I can only imagine what his take might be on that information. So, but that's where we're at, when it comes to 2025. But when it comes to the illusionary reality, it's not the best news for the illusionary reality, because that means, its demise. It's going to fall. And what I think it means is, more what's going to fall is the governmental influence. That's what I'm feeling is going to fall. And, and I'm only imagining, but that's how you maneuver through your imagination. What I'm picking up, or what I'm imagining, is that, it's like we're going to be able, when the government falls, what we're going to be able to do is create these micro communities, and people coming together. But what I feel is we'll probably go back to, like a barter type reality, where everybody has their purpose and their mastery, and it's going to be like a mutual benefit and exchange, like our own micro communities, like, the professionals in the community, like the doctors and the nurses and the policemen and the teachers, having like micro communities with these professionals included, so that we don't go to, no longer we're going to be dependent on big corporate or businesses to get those type of services. That in your own community, whatever role you are mastering in, that you are able to contribute, that is how we're going to come together and harmonize without a government which really have reached their maximum. That is why it's going to be that opposition. If you meet, energy can only go 180 degrees, and they're at the last phase of their 180 degrees of abuse of power or corrupted power. That's why this always happens in the Aquarius age, because Aquarius is the sign of the rebel. It's the sign of evolution and rebellion, and the planetary ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. And Uranus is the planet that brings explosive, unexpected, dramatic changes. So exploding the status quo of a corrupted government or powers that have reached their maximum, and now exploding that status quo, so that it liberates us into our spiritual half, where the corrupted power was restricting us in our power. So now we're getting ready to be liberated through our spiritual power, but it's all got to, whatever contribution you're going to make, it has to be based in the spiritual principles of righteousness. The universe is in a spiritual rotation based on the spiritual principles of righteousness. Daughter Earth has become off kilter to that. And now she has to get back into conformity with the spiritual rotation of the universe based on the spiritual principles of righteousness. So now we got to step up to new values and higher values, come out of the illusion of what is a value. I did the analogy of the cartoon Homer Simpson, and in the episode he finds a monkey claw and he has 3 wishes, and in the last wish he wishes for a bologna sandwich. And everybody said, why would he waste his wish on a bologna sandwich? Well, now that we're stepping up as new rulers in the cosmos for this new age of Aquarius, now if we're wishing for money, a house, a car, a job, those are now bologna sandwiches.
Oh shit!
Those are bologna sandwiches. It's time to step up to higher values, universal values. Now that
Right.
includes prosperity, peace of mind, security, protection, joy, harmony. Those are all the things that are the highest universal values.
Right.
We've been having our wish list too low. I mean, if you ask for prosperity, if a house and a car and money, that'll come with prosperity. You see what I'm saying? So it's not eliminated. It's just saying that we've been wishing, from a mundane perspective. And it's time for us to step up to a royal level. And that's the role of Taurus and Scorpio. I don't talk about one sign without its opposite. That's just half a sentence. So when we're talking about Taurus and Scorpio, in line with Aquarius and Leo, I'm talking the fixed cross. I've already described to you guys the 3 cross levels. We have the cardinal cross, which is the royal energy. This is the one that activates a new vibration from the highest royal levels of the universe. Those are the cardinal signs. And there we're dealing with the cardinal or royal fire. The fire is the sun. So the royal sun is the prince, and that would be Aries. And then we deal with the cardinal or royal water. The water is the mama, so the queen, which is Cancer. And then we deal with the cardinal or royal air, the king, which is Libra. And then the cardinal or royal earth, the daughter, the princess, Capricorn. That is the cardinal cross that activates this new royal agenda from the highest royal levels of the universe. And you know what royalty means? Royalty means who has the longest lineage of power. Those who come in from ancient mama universe. That is the ancient of ancients. Who has the most ancient lineage of power. That is what royalty means. Then as we move from the cardinal cross, now we go into the fixed cross. And the fixed cross is the enforcers. They're like the military that enforces what the cardinal cross activates. The fixed cross is what sets it into motion. And that is what we're dealing with the Aquarius. Opposite Leo, the evolution of a new age rulership. And that horizontal line of that fixed cross is that Taurus and Scorpio. So Taurus and Scorpio, I always call it the Lot's wife axis of energy, because like I said, Scorpio is the sign of transformation and Taurus is the sign of values and habits. So a transformation of our values and habits. We can't be Lot's wife. We can't be hanging on to the values and the habits and the issues of the past at a mundane level and take that baggage up to a royal level. So we have to have a transformation in our values and habits. In order to evolve, Aquarius, as new age rulers, Leo, there has to be a transformation, Scorpio, of our values and habits, Taurus. So that is what the fixed cross does. It reverses the energy from a mundane physical illusion of power to a spiritual, creative, and royal empowerment. And then that leads us to the final mutable cross, third time the charm. And anytime we're dealing with threes spiritually, we're dealing with magic. So this is what's going to bring the closer, is the third cross, or the mutable cross, that will adapt us as we step up as the new royal rulers, transformed in our values. Now we have access to the magic of Mama Universe. That is what the third cross brings to the table, dealing with the threes. So now we're dealing with the third sign, Gemini, opposite the ninth sign, Sagittarius, as the vertical leg. And then the horizontal leg is the sixth sign, Virgo, opposite the 12th sign, Pisces. So that is the mutable cross that is now going to open up us to the powers as we step up as the new righteous and now healed rulers for the new Aquarian age. So this is what all the three cross levels that is mostly influencing that. And we're definitely at that crossroads. The crossroads is December 21st. That is the peak of the astrological cycle. That is the highest peak. It's like the 12 o'clock hand at that winter solstice. And what comes together is Sagittarius and Capricorn at that peak. And when we're looking at the fire element, we're looking at the sun. And when we're looking at the earth element, we're looking at the daughter. We have three levels where we have the first son and daughter through Aries and Taurus. That's the first level of the son and daughter combination. Then the second level of the son-daughter combination is Virgo Leo, or Leo Virgo, where this is the role Trinity and Neil played. They played the role of Leo and Virgo, because this is where you supersede the ego, Leo, and open the heart, also Leo, to the value of wisdom, Virgo. So when you put Leo and Virgo together, you have the Sphinx, the body of the lion, Leo, and the head of the woman, Virgo. Power guided by wisdom. Power without wisdom is futile. Where you supersede the ego, Leo, and open the heart, also Leo, to the value of wisdom. And the reason I say Trinity and Neil played this role is because when Trinity and Neil played this role, because remember when they took Neil to the oracle, and he's trying to identify his power or himself as the one through his ego, and he's doubting himself. And that is why the oracle says, no, you're not the one. And then she points to the sign above the door that says, know thyself. If you don't know you're the one, then you're not the one. It's not till you know who you are, do you become who you are. That is the Aquarius, I know, and Leo, axis of energy, a creative ruler. I know I am a creative ruler in order to activate that rulership. So that is where Neil doubted, and that's why the oracle said, no, you're not the one until you know you're the one. So Trinity knew. And the reason Trinity knew is because the oracle told her she was going to fall in love with the one. That is how she was able to pass that knowing to Neil and resurrect him from the dead, or the illusion of power through his ego. So she said, the oracle told me I was going to fall in love with the one. I'm in love with you. That makes you the one. That is how she passed that knowing to him and resurrected him from the dead. But in the second movie, The Matrix, Neil brings Trinity back to life. He goes internal. First, he goes internal and removes the bullet or the impurities, which is the women's insecurities and their values. So he removes the impurity, and then he goes back in and massages her heart. And the first thing she says when she opens her eyes is, now we're even, which means now we're equal. Now we can come together as one. They're telepathically connected. She's in the background, the internal, the earth and water. She's in the internal, in the background, the earth, the Virgo, giving him guidance through her wisdom. He moves out as the sun, Leo, and exposes the power guided by her wisdom. That is the role Trinity and Neil were playing in the movie The Matrix. You know, they represented the collective energy of who we are. You know, and as we come together collectively, they were symbolizing those personalities. So that is what the Trinity and Neil was showing us through the earth and the fire, where we did the Leo and the Virgo. That was the second level of the son and the daughter. And now we move to the final level of the son and the daughter. Now Sagittarius, a Sar, the ultimate son of power. But he has to first prove that he will use that power righteously and not abuse it before he can get that full endowment of collective empowerment. And once he proves himself worthy, by proving he won't abuse that power but use it righteously, that's when he puts on his 14th piece in his resurrection. And then he becomes equal to the high priestess, Capricorn, at the winter solstice, the daughter of character and integrity, the high priestess, the princess, the Capricorn energy, also the Cinderella energy. I call this the Cinderella energy. Daughter Earth. Cinder is carbon or black. El is the title of divinity, and La is feminine, the black divine feminine. That's what Cinderella means, from the bottom to the top. The servant girl who ends up marrying the prince and becomes the queen, from the bottom to the top. And his daughter Earth or Capricorn, or the high priestess of this energy, who has been rejected in her value. She's been rejected. Capricorn is the sign of rejection. It's the last earth sign. It's the last cardinal sign. That is why it represents daughter Earth, the princess. But we've been in the land of illusion. She is the energy of integrity and character. Character is not respected in the land of illusion. That is how she became the rejected stone who becomes the cornerstone. It's in her rejection and redemption the earth is transformed. Daughter Earth, Cinderella at the planetary level of energy. That is the story of Cinderella, daughter Earth, being redeemed in her value as integrity and character. And that is how the ultimate son of power, Asar, now becomes equal to the ultimate daughter of character, the high priestess. The reason she's been put at the bottom of the totem pole in her value in the physical illusion is because character is not respected in the land of illusion. That is the rejected stone. That takes you back to the Tetragrammaton, where the father, the mama, and the son, and that's what Kendrick demonstrated in Heart Part 5, all come together to raise the fallen daughter. Daughter Earth, Cinderella, redeemer in the value of character, redeeming character. You have all this energy in you. So wherever your Capricorn is at in your chart is where you play the Cinderella role. You have been rejected by others. You could have been, for me, the too dark skin. You could have been too light skin. You could have been too heavy, too skinny, too tall. Whatever it is, the external world used against you to reject you in your value is where you're playing the Cinderella role. That is where your Capricorn is located at, where you're playing the role of being rejected in your value. And now you have to first, with that Taurus, going back to the Taurus, now you have to redeem the value within yourself. Spirit moves inside out, not outside in. That means we're energy transmitters as well as receivers. But it's what we send out as to what we spiral back. If we're sending it out at 20, we're going to spiral it back at 20. If we're sending it out at 80, we're going to spiral it back at 80. It all starts from within. So that is what Cinderella had to do. She had to redeem her own value from within, the Taurus energy. And once she redeemed her own value from within, then is how she'll send that energy external. And that's how she draws it back from others, from the external. But she has to first redeem it from within. That is where she then unplugs from the matrix, Virgo, and then step up to the integrity and character of the high priestess and redeem her own value, not look outside of herself for others to find her value for her. So that is where she, as the rejected stone, daughter character not respected in the land of illusion, being put at the bottom of the totem pole in her value in the physical illusion. Because in the opposite, we're dealing with opposites, balance of opposites. So if she's at the bottom in the physical illusion, that means in the spiritual, she is of the highest, the high priestess, the princess. So, and not only that, anything put at the bottom, spirit is spiral. And whatever is put at the bottom is now spiraling to the top. The Ouroboros, the snake eating his tail. This is Capricorn is the one. I always tell people, all the other signs can run up that mountain, but Capricorn, the mountain goat, has to climb up that mountain surefoot and steady while others are running up that mountain. And the reason she has to climb up surefoot and steady is because her planetary ruler is Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of karma. Saturn is the one who challenges all of us. He tests all of us. The father's role, even he's the father at the planetary role level, and the father's role is righteous thinking, teaching us lessons of righteous thinking. So the father of karma at the planetary level, Saturn, who challenges all of us and restricts all of us just to see how we're going to overcome those restrictions by staying true to our integrity and our character. So that is why Capricorn has to climb up the mountain surefoot and steady while other signs are running up, because her planetary ruler will immediately chastise her, Saturn, the minute she abuses her integrity. But by the time she reaches the top, she's built a proper foundation to stay up there for good while the other signs are falling down. So that is why she is, because of her being her planetary ruler Saturn, she gets challenges and tested the most to demonstrate integrity and character. That is her energy. But that is why she has not been respected in the land of illusion, because we've been in the land of illusion. We're only completing that half at this winter solstice. That is when we're going to complete the half where we're in the land of illusion. That is where the reversal will occur. That is where she will then spiral to the top as the high priestess and the princess. And the thing about it is, she is the one who had yet to be crowned as the princess. We had the prince through Aries. We had the queen through Cancer and the king through Libra. The only one who hadn't been crowned in her sacred status was the princess Capricorn, because her being rejected in her value. And now it's time to redeem her and lift up character. And when she puts on her crown as the princess, that is going to complete us as a royal family. And when we are completed as a royal family, that is how we turn into the star system level. That is when we go to a star system level. And now daughter Earth can go into marriage with Anubis of the Sirius star system, where our ancient ancestral energy resides on the Sirius star system, particularly the dog star Anubis. Now Anubis and daughter Earth are equal or can go into balance. And this is how we now balanced star systems. This is how this energy is going to reverberate throughout the cosmos. This is the larger purpose being fulfilled. And we've only been seeing the Reese's pieces of this, because we've only been in half of this operation. And we haven't been seeing the whole. And whenever you don't see the whole, you don't see the real. Anytime you're looking at a part of the whole, that's the illusion. Only now are we bringing our pieces to the table in contribution to this holistic purpose, where we can now see the bigger picture that's been unfolding through many lifetimes. And this is where we're at that crossroads, to hop that fence to the spiritual half, as the spiritual rotation begins to become the dominant energy or the dominant cycle. And so, like I said, this is all going to be demonstrated in the next Super Bowl. And it's so amazing how Kendrick Lamar, who did the Heart Part 5, which is indicating the Tetragrammaton, is going to be the one that does the Super Bowl for that Asar being resurrected into his power. So this is things that are lining up spiritually. It's nothing to do with what I think, what I believe, what I figured out. It has nothing to do with that. This is what I'm seeing is lining up when it comes to all the spiritual symbolism that you can look at when you look at energy. When you're looking at energy, you're looking at a whole nother level of vibration. That is why they do their rituals through the Super Bowl, through the Olympics, anywhere they can gather a large number of people, because it's your focus is how you energize. So we've been energizing the illusion. As we bought into it, they do their little skits at the Super Bowl or whatever it is, that they're gathering a mass of people for focus in order to energize an agenda that they want to unfold for the year. So this is how we've been contributing and participating with the illusion. But now it's time to wake up. It's time to come to your individual wholeness, and that's in partnership with your spirit. You don't have to figure anything out. When you partner with your spirit is going to be the one who guides you and positions you and opens up the energy from the universe, opening up the magic and the power. It's your spirit half now to do those things. You've done your half. We've done our half collectively as the vessels of sacrifice and struggle. Now it's time for the spiritual half to balance with that for wholeness, the 180-degree balance. And that spiritual half, we need to be led by our spiritual partner. It is the one that will position us. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to understand. Your spirit don't want you to know. Because if you think you know what's supposed to be, you get in the way. Because you'll be like, well, if it's going to happen, shouldn't this be going on? Shouldn't something be happening there? And when it don't happen the way you think you know it's supposed to happen, that's when you become disillusioned and you start dealing with doubt, fears, and guilt. And that is what lowers your vibration. And in order to tap into this higher vibration, this universal purpose, you have to be lifting your vibration. We are getting divine intervention, but we have to be lifting our vibration. We have to be secure. That security, that earth element, we have to be secure. Internal is where you connect to the universal whole. So you have to be secure internally in a universal purpose being fulfilled, and you're an aspect of that. So being secure, that's the first prerequisite. And the second prerequisite to qualifying is you have to prove you won't abuse that power, but use it righteously. So those are the two requirements to qualifying as a royal ruler, being secure. You can't be a tentative ruler. You can't send your power out, look over your shoulders, and wonder if it's going to happen. So those that are secure in this larger purpose being fulfilled from the internal and have proven themselves worthy by not abusing their power, no matter how much power they get, they use that power righteously. That is how you qualify to step up as a new ruler for this new Aquarian age. And so But right now, everything is being exposed. Everything that's been hidden. That's the Aquarius and Leo. Leo, the sun, is now exposing everything that's been hidden so we can step up in our knowing, Aquarius, as who we are, as the creative rulers of the universe, and then step up to the power of that. But you got to know it in order to activate it. That is the Aquarius and Leo axis of energy. Aquarius, I know, and Leo, the creative power. So I know I have creative powers before you can activate that. But now everything's being exposed that have obscured our knowing about that. Now we come to that full knowing, full clarity. That's what the sun does. It brings full exposure, full clarity, so we can step up in the knowing. Everything is being uncovered that has been covered up, been hidden from us as to who we truly are as the indigenous righteous rulers of this Americas in particular, because the Americas is the most ancient land on the earth, the Americas. And so now it's being exposed as to who we are as those indigenous Indians who are now coming to that knowing in order to step up to that power and activate that power. That's what's symbolic of a Sar coming to the fullness and the abundance of his power. So that's where I see us at, Brother Rich, when it comes to looking at that 2025 gateway. But it's going to start right before 2025. It's going to start at the winter solstice, December 21st. That's the cutoff of the 180 degrees of the physical half. And then that's where we hop the fence up to the spiritual half to balance that 180 degrees to complete that 360 spiral, how you open up a vortex and then step up to a new vibrational level. So that is the crossroads we're at for 2025. That's what I see in 2025. You're going to see a lot of things falling, a lot of things coming down, but you got to know that, number one, the first rule of business when you've been ordained and you step up in your knowing, the first thing you have to do is put out your energy of protection. Protect yourself, protect your loved ones. And then you have to know that you have the power to protect them. So you don't have to look over your shoulders and worry about your loved ones. You have the power to protect them. And that when you protect your loved ones, the ones who drank the Kool-Aid, the ones who are cooperating with the Matrix or still unplugged, are still plugged to the Matrix. Remember in the movie The Matrix, they say anyone that's not unplugged is potentially an agent. So those that are still plugged to the Matrix or drank the Kool-Aid or still buying into the illusion, as your family members, you now have the power to put a protection over them. And now you don't have to worry and look over your shoulders. And now you can focus to the higher purpose you came here to serve for Mama Universe. And also, it'll give you the validation of the powers that you are now have access to as you practice on your family to prove you have those powers. And then you become a vessel for the universal whole to use your powers for the benefit of humanity, what's right for humanity. So that's what we're looking at.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Let me ask you this, Sister Myrah.
Okay.
What advice, as we get more into the spiritual portion of ourselves,
Yes.
what advice would you give to us in terms of meditation? A lot of people, meditation is a boring part of their life. It's like a chore. It's almost like something they have to do to be quote unquote spiritual, but it's not, there's no excitement. It's not like, oh, I get to meditate, like when they're watching their favorite show on TV or something like that. What advice would you give to people who want to incorporate more of their senses into their meditation, meaning like the smell, the touch, the hearing, the seeing? How can somebody become more involved, intimate in their meditation?
Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying partner with your spirit. Because some people like me, I have a hard time meditating. I don't know why. If I try to sit back and it's just things, start itching or it's
Yeah, happens. Yeah.
something that always distracts me. I have a difficult time of meditating. People do their meditation in different ways, in different forms.
Right.
When what I get most of my information is right before I wake up, when I'm in that tween realm. That's where I start downloading at. So that's what I think your meditation is about, downloading. Some people, it is their forte. When you're getting in partnership with your spirit and how you're stepping up to do your part, um, it's going to be what feels right for you. What's going to open up as if by magic. Okay. So if it's a task, if it's something that's just not working, or if it's hard to do, then it's not what your spirit is telling you to do, you see. So your spirit is going to be the one who guides you as to how it wants to position you, what your part, what your role is, what you need to do. I always tell people following your spirit is as easy as moving out on what you feel. Moving out on what you feel until you run up on a brick wall. That is your spirit saying, make a turn here. Then you continue to move in what you feel till the next brick wall, make another turn. We keep trying to beat down the brick wall because we think we know where we're supposed to be going. Rather than following the guidance of our spirit, we're being blocked by our spirit. If it's not happening, your spirit is saying, no, that's not going to give you the outcome you think it's going to give you. And where your spirit, the path your spirit wants you on, that will open up as if by magic. You don't have to do anything, to pressure it to happen. That is how you get guidance from your spirit. Move out on what you feel. When you're blocked, turn the corner. And then continue to move to the next blockage, turn the next corner. And that is how you follow your spirit. That's how easy it is to follow your spirit. But you got to know that, and not try to beat down the brick wall, not trying to make it happen the way you think it's supposed to happen. You got to trust your spirit. That is what you need to do at this point. Build a relationship of trust between you and your spirit. And you don't have to do it on your own. It's up for your spirit to show you, convince you, and prove it to you. Because I always tell people, the more bizarre you get the message, the more it's your spirit. People ask, well, how do I know if it's my spirit? How do I know if it's my own mind leading me? Because they're both air element. Your mind, your thought is air element, and spirit is air element. So it's kind of hard to distinguish between the two. But your mind has been programmed toward logic and reason and knowing. Your spirit is going to take you beyond logic and reason and knowing. So the more bizarre you get the message, it's your spirit. I tell people, you could be riding down the street with a question on your mind and a billboard pops up and answer it. That's spirit. You may wake up in the middle of the night, immediately look at the clock, get a numerology message, get up that morning, get in your car, drive down the street, car pulls in front of you with those same numbers on his license plate. That is spirit. So it's trying to adapt you to an opposite reality. That is why it's going to seem bizarre. Spirit is opposite the physical. So your hunches, your intuition, your inner voice, your dreams, the subconscious, those are the ways that your spirit is going to use symbolism to guide you and maneuver you to where you need to be to step up to your power or to step up to the next level. So meditation, if it's not working for you, then it's just not what your spirit is saying is the right way for you. But then, like I said, anything you have to try to force.
Myrah, let me ask you this real quick, Myrah. I notice a lot of black people I talk to, what we call black people, don't like the traditional sit still meditation. Do you think that it's a cultural thing, the way, depending on the way you meditate, it varies from culture to culture? Maybe that's not for Black people to sit still and don't move, or what do you think about that?
No, I just think each individual,
Each individual, right?
yeah, has their own method, that their spirit is going to do. Because some people can do the meditation. Some Black people are good at meditation. I knew this guy when I was in Atlanta, and I did a lecture in Houston. It was a Virgo guy. And he came and I let him do a presentation on my show where he's talking about, he called it walking out.
Right.
Where your body falls asleep and your spirit leaves your body, and you stay conscious, you stay woke and conscious as to when your spirit leaves your body, as your body. When a lot of people think, when they call it the witch riding you, when you're laying in the bed and you can't move, it's like you're being pressured or forced down, or you can't move. That is when you're falling asleep. Your physical body is falling asleep. It becomes a weight, and then your spirit is stepping out of your body. And if you can, he had a technique where you can be conscious of, stay conscious of how when your spirit leaves your body. And then he went into the spiritual realm. And that's where he stepped into his powers. He said anything he imagined, it took him there. He said the first time he came out, he saw this melanated man. He was deeply melanated. And he was telling him, let me show you the errors of your Bible. And then he said the next time he tried to come out, he said, he wanted to put his hand through a wall, and he couldn't put his hand through the wall. And the melanated man said, imagine putting your hand through the wall. That is how we maneuver in the spiritual realm, through our imagination. So he imagined putting his hand through the wall, and then he was able to take his whole body through the wall as he imagined, maneuvering. He said you're going to find a lot of spiritual beings out there when you do this walk out, but they're trying to intimidate you to go back into your body, because he said when he came out, he heard his wife fussing and cussing at the kids. And he was like, let me go back in here and see why my wife is fussing and cussing at the kids. But it wasn't really happening. It was what they were trying to trick him back into his body, because you're very powerful out there. When you walk out into the spiritual realm, you're more powerful than the spiritual beings that are, that are surrounding you. And they're going to try to trick you into your body by making you deal in your fears, because he said he taught one of his friends to come out, and one of his friends ended up being like paralyzed after he did his walking out. And when he found out that 3 entities had approached his friend and said, we're going to paralyze you, and they clamped his neck or something, and because he believed they can do it, then that is how they were able to make him think he was paralyzed. So they're going to try to make you believe, and so that you don't come out, or you don't use your power against them. So, so your imagination is how you maneuver through that spiritual realm. And again, like I said, I tried to do it. I couldn't do it because it does involve a meditation. As you're laying there, just trying to drift off to sleep, but stay conscious, so it's almost like a meditation to get to the point where your spirit is walking out your body. And he was able to do it, as a Virgo. So I don't know. I thought maybe the earth element would have the difficult time getting into the spiritual realm because every time I tried to do it, I just couldn't make it work. So it's going to be your individual spirit that's going to help you understand the method of how to do those things. So I wouldn't say that it's just Black people. I just think that each of us has our own individual method of how our spirit is connecting us and guiding us. And some people can do the meditation. And some people, when it comes to the senses, I think was my issue in trying to meditate, because it is my senses that kept getting in the way. Like you said, the smells or the noise or what you hear. By thinking, I have problem calming down my mind, and going into a serene. If I'm laying there, my mind is going every which way, but some people will be great at it, but some people, it doesn't work for them. And if it doesn't work for them, it's just not meant for them, you see.
Indeed. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm gonna take a couple of questions. I can't be on here too long. I'm gonna take a couple
Yeah.
of questions from the chat before we get out of here. I want to let everybody know. Make sure you hit up Sister Myrah's Cash App. Shout out to King Simon. He posted it in the chat. It's $ Myrah Moss 813. You could donate to the sister on Cash App, in appreciation. Also, you could check out her website, sistarmyrah.com.
Yes.
All right. You could make sure you support her, hit up her website, her Cash App. With that being said, you want to get to a couple of questions, Sister Myrah?
Sure.
All right, we're going to do about...
You know me, I'll run on and on. So, stop me, what I'm saying is give me the stop sign, okay?
I got you. All right, yeah, we're just gonna do 3. We're gonna do about 2 or 3, then we're gonna get out of here.
Okay.
Let me see if I got any super chat ones that I might no, we're not doing readings today on the phone. Y'all gotta hit her up for the reading.
Bigger,
Yeah,
the big.
yeah, you gotta hit her up personally for the readings, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, well, next year is a snake year. Somebody's asking, what do snakes symbolize in dreams or physically?
The snake, that's a very good question. When we look at that external and the internal, okay? So when we're looking at the external, the snake indicates deception. And the card deck I'm using, called the fortune cards, we have a snake in the deck. And when we do that snake, it's dealing with deception. And also the fox deals with deception. I always like to make a distinction between the snake and the fox, because when you get the fox, it's deception, but it's more personal. But when we get the snake, we get deception, but it's more systematic. So it's dealing with a systematic deception, like with the matrix or the illusion, how you've been programmed in the illusion to participate with the illusion. That's the external deception of the system of illusion. That is what the snake represents in the card deck that I use. But the internal definition of the snake, the highest connotation of the snake on the internal is, of course, the rising of the Kundalini. That is the snake, the rising of the Kundalini through the chakras, all the way to the crown chakra, where you make your connection with the universal whole. So external versus internal, you're going to get a contrast. You're going to get two, like I said, there's always an opposite reflection. So the external, deception, especially systematic deception, the deception of the illusion. But on the internal, your Kundalini rising through your chakras, and opening up the vibration to the crown chakra, where you connect to the universal whole. So that's what the snake represents.
My fault. I had it on mute. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's get to another question. I seen somebody ask this earlier. Hi, Sister Myrah. How can women control their Kali Ma and segment energy better during these times?
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's meant for you to control it.
Wow.
Kali Ma. See, and I'm Capricorn.
Yeah.
Which means my opposite sign is Cancer. That's the sign of Kali Ma. And whenever you see me, I'm the daughter to Capricorn, but the mama comes out through me, through my Cancer, as Kali Ma. And whenever I get righteously indignant, that's usually when Big Mama is coming through, you see. But as far as tempering her, yes, I do have to temper her as the daughter, the Capricorn, her, the mama, as Cancer. those opposite signs, and Cancer being Kali Ma. So there's times when Mama has come through and like, get her, daughter, get her. She wants me to just, tear somebody up. And I'll be like, okay, Mama, I'll get them, but let me get them in a manner that they're going to receive it. I can't just go in there all mad dog. That's how Mama wants to do. Kali Ma, she don't play, and she wants you, in other words, she wants you to walk in the authority of your royalty. Once you've been ordained by Big Mama, you better act like you know it. Not enough just to know it. You better act like you know it, or she's going to have a problem with you. Quickly, I'll tell you the story. When I lived in Atlanta, I had a client to come to my house. It was a Leo guy. He was very, very psychic. And he was listening to me talk about Big Mama. But he was also very religious. And so he was very cool as he listened to me expounding on Big Mama. And he was open and to receive the information. He listened. And then at one point, he must have felt a little guilty because he made a little, a religious. He was saying something like, well, I guess that's why Jesus had to come. And so I didn't know whether to correct him or not. I said, well, he listened to me all patiently, so maybe I shouldn't, come down on him about infusing that into, my conversation about Big Mama. So I decided to let it go. We sat there for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, the sky got black. The clouds rolled in. Rain come down in sheets, and then the lightning was like a whip. But bow down.
Damn.
Wow. No, Jesus.
Oh shit.
Brother Rich, the very next day, I had another client come in. He was a Gemini. He was a nice man, good job, good looking, very nice guy, Gemini. Now, Geminis are the natural channelers. And so he comes in to get a reading, and he channels. And so he was saying that he had been married and had children, and his father had passed away, and his father had told him to stay true to his melanated woman. So he had married a melanated woman, had children, but they had gotten a divorce. And recently he was thinking about, another type of woman, you see. And he even had a scrapbook. He even had Trinity in the scrapbook that he was showing me all these other women that he was thinking that, he could get with. And so then I'm trying to, talk to him. I'm like, well, you want to be a match to who your lady is. You want to be equal. You want to be a match. Make sure that you're dealing with your match and you're equal, or you're in a parasitical relationship. They have to be able to give energy back at the rate they take it, right? In order for it not to be a parasitical relationship. So I'm trying to, tiptoe and give him that. And he channeled his uncle. And his uncle came through, and his uncle said, no, it's okay for the black man to be with the white woman because she going to be used as a tool to bring down the white man. So when he channeled that, I said, okay. I said, I'm not one to get in the way of a person's spirit. Whatever you think your spirit is telling you, you go with that, you see. Sat there another 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, this man's head looked like it was about to jerk off his neck. Ooh. And he started speaking, and it was a woman's voice. Ooh. And the voice said, black woman, stay true to yourself, and most of all, stay true to me.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm like, oh, Big Mama, I was trying to tell him. And he came out of the channel, and I don't think he remembers because his eyes were this big, and he was going, something just happened, huh? Something just happened. I said, And I made a tape for him. He came back a week later to get the tape, and his eyes were still big. So 2 days in a row, Big Mama thought she needed to chastise me. You see.
Wow.
That is how mama's going to do. She don't play. She like Homie the Clown. You better act like you know it. She told me you will, because we're daughter and she's mama. Universe and daughter Earth. So she said to me, you will represent me as I would be represented. And that's no mealy mouth walking on eggshell type of bullshit. That is what she said. So that is where Kali Ma will come out. When he thinks you're not, wielding the authority of who she is as the sovereign being of the universe. All energy comes from the universe. That's who they were calling the source in the movie The Matrix. So she does not allow you to undermine her value, if you are walking as one of her vessels. So that is where Kali Ma will come out. I will stand up and really go after a person. I've done that several times. I'll stand up out of my chair, and be shouting at them. And then I'll sit back down. I'll go, oh, no, I'm so sorry. That wasn't me. But they always say, well, it's what I needed to hear. So that's when Big Mama is coming through. When I get righteously indignant, that is when she's showing her energy as Kali Ma, and so I don't know if you're supposed to temper it. The only way I temper it is I say, okay, mama, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it in a way, where I don't look insane.
Yeah. I hear you. Wow, what an answer! What an answer!
Yeah,
we gonna do. Shout out to everybody in chat. Once again, we got about 3,200 people in here. Make sure if there's 3,200 people in here. Make sure at least 1,000 of y'all hit up Myrah's Cash App. At least 1,000 of y'all should hit up Sister Myrah's Cash App, and also visit her website, y'all. Make sure you show support. Last question I want to ask Sister Myrah, where's it at? Shout out to my brother Dre, big time supporter of the platform. Dre says, with the new year coming in, will each sign have a different purpose for 2025, or will it still be a collective purpose for everyone?
But that's just it. We all have an individual. This is, and I may have described this before, but the way I like to describe it, it's everything. You go from one end to the opposite end. So from the individual to the collective. That is how you follow a line of energy. So I made the example of when you go to a football game and they do the wave in the football game, that cycle, that wave in the football game. I always say, let's say you have 12 different sections in that stadium at the football game in order to do the wave. And then what happens is, let's say you have an Aries section, you have a Taurus section, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, on all 12 signs with 12 sections, and each section represents one sign of the zodiac. Now, me, I'm Capricorn, so I will be sitting in the Capricorn section. So the Capricorn section may be made up of maybe, say, 200 people. So I'm an individual that comes together at the second level of collective energy. I add my individual Capricorn energy to the Capricorn section. Each 200 individual, us Capricorn, will bring their individual Capricorn to that section of that stadium. And then as the wave starts, like Aries will stand up first, and as it stands up, then Taurus will stand up, and as it sits down, then Gemini will stand up. As Gemini sits down, then Cancer stands up, and on around through those 12 signs. And now you're contributing to the collective whole. There's a multitude of levels. That's what we got to remember. We're dealing with a multitude of levels, and you're going to see a different face at a different level. So I'm going to represent the individual Capricorn, but then it's going to contribute to the section of Capricorn with 200 people there. And then it's going to go from the section of Capricorn and its contribution to when it comes its turn, Capricorn's turn, to stand up and contribute to the wave in its section. So that is how it works. From the individual, to the in the stadium, we're talking the second level is the section of that sign, and then as each section contributes to the whole cycle of the wave. That is how energy works, from the individual through the different levels. Like I told you, from the individual to a couple level, to a family level, community level. These are all the levels. It's not time. We're dealing with levels. We're dealing with different levels of energy. And it starts with the individual, and then it goes that same line of energy will go all the way out to that collective energy, you see, through a multitude of levels.
Hey, Myrah, I just want to make sure we got the right Cash App. A lot of people in the chat is saying it wasn't going through. It's MYRAMOSS 813, right?
That's correct. And my phone is it's really it's responding over here. Somebody's getting through.
It's hotline blinging over there, huh? All right, maybe I think y'all
don't put the H. They might put the H. Don't put the H in there.
Yeah, no H. No, I think so many people hit up the Cash App at the same time.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's because I was like at least 1,000 of them. So I'm sure I know we're gonna get 1,000 people to donate.
Yeah,
I know that.
It's going boom, boom.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's exactly what it was, family. If it didn't go through, this is the right Cash App.
Yes.
Thank God King Simon put the right one, because we don't need nobody else getting this. So, thank you, King Simon. But my goal is for at least 1,000 of y'all to hit up Myrah's Cash App. I want her to text me tomorrow. It's Rich. Oh my God, Rich. These people are magnificent. So let's make, especially when she dropped what she dropped for us today in about 2025 and December 21st, and us crossing over to that next stage. I mean, it's very important to support our elders, not just when they transition, but when they're here in the physical, and they deserve their flowers while they're alive. Myrah, I appreciate everything you've brought to this community so much.
It is my pleasure, Brother Rich. I mean, and honestly, everybody take money, but I don't really do it for the money. I do it because I love getting this information out to the family. This is stuff we need to know. We're at the time where it's time for us to step up, and we got to step up in what we know in order to step up in our power. So it is just my agenda to get out to as many people as I can, are those who are ready to receive the information. It's just my pleasure to be able to deliver it to you.
Oh, and that's why we appreciate you so much. And just let me do the dirty work, Sister Myrah. Let me do the dirty work. Okay. I'm gonna get them to donate. I'm the money man.
I got you. Yeah,
I'm the money man. So I'm gonna make sure they hit you up.
But it's a pleasure. It really is a pleasure to be able to give this information, especially if it opens people up for them to see who they are, the role they're here to play, understand they're bigger than what this physical illusion is giving them. The physical illusion is opposite of who we are as spiritual beings of the cosmos. I did a hypnotherapy, and in the hypnotherapy, when the therapist put me under, the first thing I saw was blue skies and white clouds. And I got ready to panic because I'm like, what am I going to get from this? Blue clouds and white clouds. And so the therapist said, she said, what's your temperature? I said, I don't have a temperature. She said, do you have a body? I said, no, I don't have a body. She said, can you move? I said, yes. She said, look down. What do you see? I said, I see nothing but darkness. And then as we got into the consultation, we were able to tap and talk to the spiritual console. And so she asked the spiritual console, why did they show me floating in the air in the beginning of the consultation? And the spiritual console said, oh, we're just trying to show her she's above all this. She's in this world. She's not of this world. She came in here to do a mission. So that is what we're here to do. We're here to manifest energy from the spiritual and the soul realm. We are here to manifest. Spiritual energy has to be manifested in order to identify the impurities, to cleanse and purge Virgo of those impurities so we can heal and then step up to a new level. So we're here to serve a purpose, not, get identified with this reality, because we're spiritual beings doing a physical job, you see.
Wow.
So, that is what we're here to do. And so that's what I'm here to do when it comes to my work. We're above all this. We're above this darkness that I saw below me.
Oh man, awesome. You gave me a number to hypnotherapist years ago, somebody who wanted to be on the show.
Yes.
And I never thoroughly looked at her. Is that the same one you
Yes. I mean, it was, whoa, I can't tell you. It was astounding what she took me to. And like I said, we even talked to the spiritual council. And the spiritual council called itself Harmony. And you have to submit 15 questions beforehand. And when you submit the 15 questions, that is what she'll ask, when you get into the hypnotherapy. First, she talks to your higher self. And then she asked, could she speak to the spiritual council? And that's when they came in. And the thing is that when I submitted the 15 questions, then she started asking the 15 questions that I had. Like I asked about my cat. Did I have my cat in the last life? And they said, yeah, you have an affinity with the cat, the most ancient of beasts. And then the next morning when I woke up, I saw myself as a little Indian princess. At 6 years old, at my 6th birthday, they were presenting me with this little Black Panther, little baby Black Panther, and we grew up. They showed me at 19 walking through the woods as this princess with my little my big Black Panther at my side, so I could go anywhere I want. So that's what they showed me with the cat. And when they answered all the questions, they said to me, she knows all this already. She just don't trust she knows it. So that's where the hypnotherapy helped me the most. It helped me to trust what I've been receiving, that I wasn't clear that if I was really receiving. So everything that they answered, like they said, I already knew the answer, but I just didn't trust that I knew the answer. So that is what helped me be more secure about what I'm picking up on and not doubt it and not question it.
Indeed.
So yeah, it was a very valid experience for me. Yeah.
Powerful, Sister Myrah. Before you get out of here, any last message you want to give to the people? Anything coming up? Any books coming out? Anything like that? Let them know before we get out of here, Sister Myrah.
Oh, okay. The only thing I got on my schedule now is on the 18th. I'm going to do it December 21st with Professor Melanie, and that'll be at I think she said 8 o'clock. That's Central Time. So that's going to be on December 31st with Professor Melanie. But that's the only thing I really
21st, right? 21st.
No, I'm sorry. It's going to be December 18th.
18th, okay.
Yeah, okay. December, right before, because it's going to be on the winter solstice. She wanted me to put the message out before December 21st. So it's pretty much in the same vein as what we're doing here today. Looking ahead as what's going to happen after December 21st. So that's the only thing that's really on my schedule right now, you see.
Excellent.
So, other than the consultation, but please, you guys, get a consultation, because the people that are getting them at the end, they're going, wow, because they're coming and they're getting something way beyond what they are expecting, you see. Yeah. So, and it's giving them their marching orders from their spirit as to where to take their next step, or how their spirit is stepping them up to their highest purpose. So these are the type of messages I'm getting, and they're getting more profound every day. And they're dealing, and what I like about it is that when we were dealing with the cardinal cross, the cardinal signs were coming. When we're dealing with the fixed cross, the fixed signs were coming. And now I'm getting the mutable signs coming. I had 2 Sagittariuses, one Sagittarius and one Gemini the other day. So that means we're now getting to that mutable cross where it's time to open up the magic. I can tell by what clients are coming through. So now I'm getting the clients that represents the mutable cross, the third cross, the closer, where it's now time for us to open up to our magic. So I'm seeing from their individual consultations what's going on at the higher levels, you say.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what you did, Sister Myrah. You made it hard for me to get readings from other people because your reading was so good back in the day.
And Brother Rich, I didn't really went even beyond that now. You need to get another one.
Yeah.
And, you know, anytime you're ready, let me know. You know, it's on me. Just get you another reading because from the time I did it in 2005 till now, things have
a lot of things have changed. Yeah,
a lot of things, and the information has elevated.
Right. No, definitely.
So whenever you feel like, just text me up, you know, and we'll set it up. But you will be amazed because if you were amazed at that one, you will really be amazed now.
Oh yeah, can't wait. Yeah. And they could go to the website to book a reading, right? SisterMyrah.com.
Yes, go to the website. You know, for the consultations. And like I said, it's not as far out as it used to be. It used to be a year out. Now I'm out to around March.
Right.
March.
Yeah, they better take advantage of that. Yes. They better take advantage of that right there. Hey, but once again, Sister Myrah, thank you so much for coming back on the platform. Always a pleasure having you on here. Shout out to everybody. We still got over 3,000 people in the chat.
Wow.
Once again, the website, SisterMyrah.com. Cash $sign MYRAMOSS 813. Make sure you support this gem, this treasure we have in the community that we call Sister Myrah. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Sister Myrah, I'm gonna talk to you soon. I'm gonna call you.
Love you.
All right.
Love you, family. All righty.
Peace, family.